Good evening, everyone. Welcome to ULTV Study Abroad 101. I'm Shefali Srivastava, Marketing and Communication Manager at University. There have been a lot of questions about student visa, right? We are discussing that today. So we'll address all of them today in this session. We'll discuss how to obtain a student visa for the UK, what are the requirements for a visa, and how can you stay over there, what you have to do upon arrival, and most importantly, what costs may apply for this whole thing. For this discussion, we have Sunita Jalan, Vice President Zoom Abroad with us. Hi Sunita, how are you?
Hi Shefali, I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for joining us today. Sunita has been guiding students to higher education overseas for past 17 years. She's certified by British High Commission for the UK, Education New Zealand certified for New Zealand education, and actively helped more than 1,000 plus students in pursuing their dream of going abroad and making a bright future. So Sunita, I'll not waste more time of yours because I know you have a very busy schedule, and thank you again for taking time out from that schedule. I'll just jump into the conversation of ours. So what exactly is student visa and how it is different from the other visas that are available, and what is the duration for student visa?
Okay. Firstly, any student who is going for an education purpose where their courses are more than 9 months, that student will have to go on a student visa given by the government. Any student going for short-term courses or some 6 months diplomas, they go on a tourist visa. So tourist visa and student visa are two different visas that the student get depending on the course duration that they are going for. So that's the basic difference between the two visas. So do not get confused on the student visa or a tourist visa. If your course is more than 9 months, it's straightforward. You have to go for a student visa.
Right. And just in case when someone has a student visa, what is the duration of that particular visa?
Okay. Student visa varies depending on the course duration. If your course is for 1 year, you get a visa for 1 year plus additional 3 to 4 months, unless and otherwise you have UG students who go for 3 to 4 years of bachelor's. So they get a visa for 4 years or 3 years plus 4 months additional. So that is the duration of your visas.
Okay, great. Now, what are the documents one might need to obtain a student visa, especially in case of UK, we are asking as of now?
Okay. Firstly, let me tell you all, UK is the simplest visa processing. The documents are the simplest, unlike any other countries. In UK, you just need 5 to 7 documents for your visa, which would be your visa application form. Then you have something called as CAS, that is a confirmation of studies. Then you need to provide your financial documents. Then you have something called as TB test, the tuberculosis test, which has a chest x-ray, and your original passport. So these are the only documents that is required for the student visas.
Great. You mentioned CAS. So I want to understand what is CAS, how one can get it, and how does it impact the whole visa process?
Okay. Now, CAS is a very important document for any student applying for a student visa, that is Tier 4 student visa. The full form of CAS would be confirmation of studies. Now, there are different ways to get your CAS. Firstly, you need to have an unconditional letter with you, which means that you have completed all the documentary requirements of the university, which can be your academics, which can be your IELTS. So these would be the two requirements. Along with that, some universities would ask you to pay some kind of deposit amount before giving you a CAS letter, which varies from starting from 1,000 till 10,000. So that is the requirement. The third requirement would be an ATAS certificate. ATAS certificate is basically for few of the courses which fall into the category of chemicals or mechanical engineering, biomedical research program. Those students will need an ATAS, and it would be mentioned on your offer letter about the ATAS. And fourthly, and the most important criteria is the pre-CAS interview. So a lot of universities undergo a pre-CAS interview, which a student has to clear unless university, if they have not asked, it's okay, but most of them do ask for the interview. The student, once they complete all the criteria of the payment, getting the unconditional, university will fix your meeting for the pre-CAS interview, and the student has to undergo that. And pre-CAS interview is your deciding factor for getting your visa letter, which is the CAS.
Okay. You mentioned 1,000 to 10,000, I believe. It's in pound or?
It's in pounds. It's in pounds. So depending, you will get on your offer letter, the fees would be mentioned. What is the deposit amount? Some UG students might not have to pay any deposit. They directly get their cash based on their results. But some universities do ask. So in UK, it varies from university to university, the processes of getting the unconditional and CASes.
Okay. You mentioned finances. So are there any kind of funds that the student needs to show to obtain this UK visa?
Yes. Now, UK visas, you need to show certain amount in your banks, and these amount would be basically your tuition fees that you're going to spend for 1 year, plus a living cost that the High Commission has a standard rates that you have to show. So any student going for a university which is inside London, they need to pay £12,006 for, they need to show £12,006 for the visas. Any students universities outside London, they need to show £9,207 for the visas along with the tuition fees. Now, how do you show these funds? This is a very important criteria. Now, to show the funds, you can either opt for a bank loan. You need to have a complete sanctioned bank loan for your visas. Secondly, you can show money in the fixed deposits. Thirdly, you can show funds in the saving accounts. So these are the three possible ways how you can show funds for your visas. Now, in case if you are showing funds in the form of fixed deposits or bank account, that is a saving account, it should be preferably on the name of the parents and student. Only three of them can sponsor, only parents and student themselves can sponsor for the visas. And additionally, in these accounts, the money should be consistent for 1 month, which is 28 days. So this is a very important criteria that every student needs to ensure to see that the funds are not dipping from the account. It is consistent for 28 days. If you follow this, you are bound to get your visas easily.
Right. So there are loans available for this particular task.
Yes.
Okay. And they're different from the education loans that one gets.
You have to apply for the education loan. You cannot show personal loan or a business loan or an OD account loan. Those are not accepted. It needs to be an education loan, which will be on the name of the parents, and the co-applicant will be student.
Okay. And the visa fees is actually the same amount that you just mentioned, or there's some exclusive other additional rates to it?
Apart from these showing money, what you need for the visa fees are separate. Now, if you apply for a normal visa fees comes to around £363, which if you take in the conversion, it would be approximately, say if I take £1 as 100 rupees, it would be 36,000 rupees. Again, in this also, we have different categories for the visa. So the £363 visa is a normal visa, which usually student gets in 15 to 20 working days. Then there is something called as priority visas. Priority visas are £583. So it's 363 plus 200 pounds more, which is 563 pounds. This visa usually comes within 5 working days. And then you have something called a super priority, which is way expensive, which is 956 pounds. So these are the three different types of visa. So the super priority visa comes in 24 hours.
Okay. So it comes within 24 hours.
Yes.
Right. Any additional fee, which is hidden charges, maybe available, which students should be aware of?
Yes. Apart from these costs, at the time of application, you have the facility that you can take a courier, you can take the scanning. They have different schemes where you can go in person on priority, take an appointment and pay. So all those are very nominal charges of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 rupees.
Okay, so these are in rupees, and the earlier charges you mentioned are in pounds.
Yes.
Okay, understood.
And all these payments of the visa fees will be paid by credit or debit card only.
Okay.
You
So
do not have the provision to pay on with cash or go and pay by Paytm or Google Pay.
it has
Those
to be
are not
e-money.
accepted. It has to
Yeah.
be by card.
E-money. Understood. Makes sense. Now, what is IHS and what exactly? I am very blank on IHS. How much does it cost? How does it help students? Please enlighten us.
IHS is known as Immigration Health Surcharge, which means that you can opt for the health services from UK when you are on a student visa. So in case if you get a fracture, you can always go to the GP and get your medical treatment for free. You don't have to pay anything. Unless it's a tooth or an eye, dental and eye is not covered in the IHS. Rest all services are covered in the IHS. So if you have a normal fever, and you feel that you need a medication, go to a doctor, you can go there and you can easily get your treatment without paying anything. So that is what is IHS. Like we have the health insurances in India that the students take, it is the same way. So for UK, the student don't have to take any additional health insurance. It is the IHS, which is registered by the National Health Service of UK. Student just have to take this, which is a compulsory part of your visa application. Now, IHS cost is around £624 per year. So if a student is going for a 1-year program, it will be £624 per year. If the student is going for a 3-year program, this is calculated into 3 years. So 624 into 3 years is what you need to pay for the IHS. And also this amount is also only payable by credit or debit card. You cannot pay by cash. And this is a compulsory amount every student has to pay. You cannot skip this amount.
Right, right. I have another question in regards to the same thing. That, for example, if there is someone who has taken IHS or maybe who doesn't want an IHS, does it impact the visa process?
No. Every student has to take an IHS. Without IHS, student will not be able to move for their visa application. This is a compulsory part of this UK student visas. You cannot skip this part.
Understood. Understood.
Yes.
You mentioned in our previous answer related to caste that caste is very important with respect to the visa part. And of course, we also get to know a lot of information from students that we have received our caste or we have not received our caste, and it is because of this the whole visa process is being delayed. Now, if one receives the caste letter, how soon they can apply for visa? How soon they can get visa if they have already applied?
In case if the student has got a caste and he has already cleared the pre-caste interview, and some universities do ask for the finances prior to releasing the caste. So those students, if they get the caste, they just have to get the documents updated from the banks and apply for the visas immediately. Wherein there is one set of category of the students where they get a caste without showing the finances. But those students should ensure that their funds are ready at the earliest by the time they get the caste. So the whole point is on the student that how soon they work on their finances. Once they get the caste, they need to immediately apply for the visas.
Okay, so these are the finances for that 28 days time frame that you mentioned earlier in our question.
Yes.
Understood. Understood.
Yes.
Now, you already mentioned that as soon as one gets a caste letter, they should start the process. But what exactly is the time frame when we apply or till the time we get? What exactly is the time frame for the whole visa application process?
Visa application is usually takes 4 to 6 weeks. Depending on the peak season, sometimes we have seen some students have got early also, some students have got late also. And recently we have seen some changes in the student visas where High Commission has randomly picked up students for an interview. So in case if you get a call for an interview, then probably it may take 6 to 8 weeks more, keeping in mind the peak season. So one should be prepared at least for 6 weeks to get their visas.
Right. Now you mentioned very important part, and I know students will love to hear more about it, but I will just like little small points. You mentioned about visa interview. Now, what kind of question are asked during this process? Most of the time students are very overwhelmed during this process.
Yes. Basically, High Commissioner would like to know the confidence of the student, what course the student is going for. The student should clearly know the benefits of studying in UK, benefits of studying that particular course, how that course is going to help them when they come back to India. So basically, and the course content, what they are going to study. So these are the basic questions. If the student gives it perfectly, the High Commission will get the confidence that yes, student has done a thorough research, which university he is going, what are his course content, what are his future plans, what kind of job roles he'll get after doing this course. So these are the basic questions that they are asked. Over and above this, sometimes the student may be asked about the finances, that who is funding them, how are their parents, what are the parents' job roles? Are they working or they have taken a loan? Sometimes, very rarely, they ask on the finances, but majorly it would be more of the question related to your university and the course that you are taking.
Okay. And does scholarship also impact or the whole visa process or expedited?
Scholarship, in the sense, it will impact in a way that you have to show little less funds. So when you are showing the funds for the visa, suppose you have got a university offer letter where you have a fees of £15,000 and they have given you a scholarship of £2,000. So then your showing amount for the visa sums up to £13,000 instead of £15,000. So that is the difference of getting a scholarship. Okay, some students may get Commonwealth or those kind of a scholarship, then it's a different application process altogether for them.
Okay, if there is a merit-based scholarship, then that particular amount is deducted from the total 28 period that they have to show.
The student caste letter will mention either the scholarship amount or the university will directly mention the deducted amount. So it depends on the caste what the amount is mentioned. So caste will mention the amount which is waived off with the scholarship and the deposit amount what the student has paid.
Understood. Caste plays a very important role in visa process. That for a student visa, that was my whole understanding.
So every student, just a small request, students sometimes miss out on this. In case if you have got your class, please ensure that you check it thoroughly. Every details are written properly. That is your name, your passport number, your date of birth, the course that you are doing, the documents that the university has cited, which will be your bachelor's mark sheet or something, the exact name that is written on your mark sheet. All these things should be matched with the document that you're going to submit it to the visa for the visas. So ensure that the students take a thorough look at the caste before applying for the visas.
Right. Now, I have a situation-based question, and I believe most of the students do this, especially we are not aware. If a student is not aware which course they are taking, and when they travel abroad and they start studying the course, all of a sudden they start realizing that this is not what they want to pursue. Now, in this case, what happens if a student changes their course or changes their university while they're studying in UK? Does it affect their visa? If yes, then how, and how to modify or how to use this whole thing?
Yes. If a student plans that he wants to change a course, if the course is in the same university, same department and the time frame, then that is not an issue. But if a student changes the university all over, then it is a trouble, because every student, once they reach UK, they get something called as BRP, that is Biometric Resident Permit Card, which is a visa of their full-time course until they stay in UK. So in case if the student plans to change the course or change the university, then the university will curtail their BRP, which means that they will have to come back to India and then apply for the new program or the new university. But in case if the course is within the same university, same department, and there's not much change in the course start date, end dates, then that is not a problem. Because a lot of time there are engineering students, to give you an example, they take an engineering program and after 6 months they feel that this is not their cup of tea. So sometimes they go to the professor and they change the course within the same department. So instead of mechanical, they might come to the IT department. They may take an IT program. So that will not be an issue. But if they change the overall university, then that's an issue.
Understood. Oh, what happens in case of exchange program? For example, if a student studying in their domestic country and the current university has an exchange program with a university which is in UK, Now, is there a different visa process or is the same process, and how does it happen?
If the student has taken an exchange program, though his course will be for 3 years only in UK, so he will get the visa for that time frame.
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter.
So what matters when you're changing your university while you're studying in UK? You will have to start the whole process from scratch, and the previous things that you have done will go for me. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, everybody who's traveling abroad, their ultimate goal is to have a good career over there. We all understand. Of course, studies is very important if they're going into STEM and all the industry, but they want to have a good career over there. Now, what happens once the student visa expires and the person wants to pursue their career over there? What is the next step for that person?
Okay. Thanks to the UK government that they have introduced this 2-year post-study work visa, which is a common terminology, what a lot of people know. The actual visa name is GIR, that is a graduate immigration route. So now graduate immigration route is very simple to understand, though there are a lot of myths here and there what people have created in the market. But the simple law for the graduate immigration route is that the student completes his studies, he should have his degree certificate with him, and he gets his GIR for 2 years where he can find and secure a good job for himself. There is no such criteria that the place where the student is working should be a registered company, or they have any salary cap with them, or they have to have some kind of negotiation with the company, and the company should be on the labor market. There is no such criteria for GIR. The GIR criteria is very simple. The students complete their studies, they have the degree certificate, and they apply for a GIR, which is an open work permit. Students can work anywhere and they can explore and try to get a full-time job for themselves in next 2 years of their GIR visas.
Understood. And just in case if there's a student who's pursuing courses, but somehow they were unable to clear that particular set of year or a semester in that one go, does it impact their visa? The visa get extended or what? Or they have to start the whole process again for the whole visa thing?
It completely depends on the visa that they have got, the timelines of the visa that is mentioned on their letters. Suppose the course is 1 year, say from September to September, student did not clear one of the paper for which he has a resit in October. If his visa is valid, then there is no issue for the student for the resit. But suppose the visa is not valid and his resit is in the month of February or January, then probably he has to come back to India and go again on a tourist visa or a standard visitor visa, take the resit and come back. Okay. But usually resits are always within 2 or 3 months of their course, so that shouldn't be a challenge too much for the students.
Yeah, that's a very rare situation, but just in case, because we were getting great answers, and I thought, why not take this opportunity to get more information about students. So great, Sunita. I didn't realize we're almost near our closing time. Any 2 cents of wisdom for the students who are going for September 2022 intake for UK?
A piece of advice that prepare yourself pretty on time. Do not delay with your finances, with your caste letters, and apply at the earliest, and you're good to go, and you have a great career ahead in UK. UK has a lot of job opportunities at present with the GIR in process. So take the best out of it and enjoy your time.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us today. And on this note, guys, just start on time. That's the key, key formula that every UNIREP, every counselor who has joined our platform has said. You need to start on time. You need to be punctual with your timelines. So on this note, we'll be closing our session. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Sunita, for joining us today. We hope you found it useful, and looking forward to see you guys next Friday at 5 p.m. Stay tuned to our social media handles for more information, and do check out the links below for more information. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.